Going for a walk, heading down to check the road. This is the effectively the driveway, and of course we've got that pond collecting there from all the compacted bentonite clay from just driving over that day after day after day. And it's just a good example of how the dam can hold water if you compact it enough. Let's go check the swale. So that's a swale over there in the distance, where you can just see the mounded earth. I assume if there was hill runoff last night, and there was, because that road was backed up, that there should be some water out here. Not tons, because I haven't leveled it yet, but it's not a priority. It was kind of a learning first swale. So yeah, looks like she held a little bit of water. Water came off the hills, ran down this channel, started pooling up here, and then water from the hill or from the mound, looks like it pulled up there, which is good. So all that clay that's running off and silt hopefully are starting to seal a little bit of this, so we can hold water a little bit longer. So that's nice. So it's holding that water, and that water is soaking in, as opposed to it had just staying in the runoff channels and just running down the hill and disappearing to evaporation. It actually is being held here and soaking in. So that's good news. And this will be a happy mesquite once her roots really start to tap down into that. So now let's go check the road runoff. Guess I didn't show you guys this. This is the beginnings of the front gate. There are 2 strands of barbed wire. I got to run the 3rd, and then I'll do wire underneath. But I got to do that T-post as well. And then I got 2 strands here, which I need to finish the 3rd up there as time permits. But just walking out so you can kind of see the beginnings of where there'll be a gate. Do a little welding and put a I was thinking about using conduit and just making 2 10-foot sections of gate, so there's a 20-foot possible entryway. And all right, now it'll be a short walk. I've deleted some storage, some video, so I actually can show you the walk down this morning. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. This is a play area I was creating, and yes, I do got my machete. Why? Because when it rains out here, everybody comes out for a drink. You never want to be caught anywhere in the wild without a means of something to grab onto to shush something away. This was actually a little, just an area I showed a while ago. As I'm learning, when I had the Toro Dingo, I kind of compacted this area on accident, doing some digging, and it was holding water, and it would hold water for a day or two. So what I did is I just made a little channel and a deeper little pond. I didn't finish. It's an experiment. What I need to do is widen it and have a very slight slope, maybe like 3% or something, because as all that clay gets in there, it settles, it dries, and it seals. It settles, dry, settle, dry, seal, and after a while, it should start to create a sustainable pond. So just an experiment. I'll show you that more as time goes on. I don't really have a whole lot of time for working with ponds yet. I will soon, after the house is done. Then a lot of the fun work will start. Not that this all isn't fun. This is all actually really, really fun. But it's a lot, and that makes it a little bit mundane. So here's the road area that likes to run off. Oh, look at that. We're holding a little bit of water. And this is where I took the backhoe and I kind of just excavated a little bit of an area so it all just doesn't run down as a river, but there's a little wider area for water to sit. Long term, I kind of want to just take it back, push it back, and just kind of create a little area for sitting water that I can pump water out of, and something for the wildlife to drink. So look at that. That's fun. So she held water last night. I'm not seeing any signs of runoff. That's a good thing. I piled this up higher, and this is where we put the 3rd PVC culvert right there. Let's check and see if it ran off, but the neat thing is that it looks like it filled in here. It got to the height of the lower culvert, which might just mean we only got hill runoff. We can double check that. And so this culvert filled up and it poured out into here. Look at that. So we got probably got a good 800 gallons of water that's being held right here. Now, long term for this, because this is what I would deem a runoff pond that we'd use the unsettled water from the top to pump to a slightly higher location for a long-term pond. But this would never be a long-term pond because you're going to get too much runoff and it's going to continue to fill in after a while. So that's pretty neat. Unfortunately, we're not ready to do any pumping yet. I don't have a higher elevation pond to actually pump that with. I wanted to see if water came through this culvert. I believe that answer is no. Looks like the lower one might have got some water through this last time. The upper one is in there, the PVC guy, and there's no runoff. That's just dirt. So we didn't get up as high as the third culvert, which is good. Looks like a little bit came through here. Most of it came out here. Looks like she ran off and filled up this little area. Now, that's interesting. I've never seen water being held here, although it's not a steep elevation right here, so that's interesting. But again, long term is that all the way around here, probably going out another at least 20 feet is all going to be a part of this pond. So when this runoff happens, it holds, you know, hopefully a good 20, 30, 40,000 gallons of water. And then I can use that pumped up into a higher pond, which would be great. All right, so that's good. Good story last night. It rained, nice significant rain, filled up all the ponds, or most of them. They all got some water. But we're learning, and so I would call that a success for the night. So this is Gerard, GGWT Journal, Greening the Desert, August the 15th. And it's still raining, still trickling. So, and just for perspective, how far am I from, you can see camp in the distance right out there. So, you know, we're at 1/8 of a mile, not too far. But if I get my way, when the runoff starts to occur, we would use a ram pump, which doesn't use any power, to pump, you know, using the water that's coming down off the plateau and the hills, using that power to ram pump the water back up. And I think, if I remember right, for every, you know, drop in 10 feet, you can pump the water almost, was it 80 feet, something like that? I forgot. But either way, you can pump the water higher than it falls. So best case scenario is when all this starts in the night, the ram pump kicks in, it pumps water to the higher pond, and then, you know, might use an electric pump, you know, by using the wind turbine, the solar panels to pump the water up. You know, the whole idea is to create a pond for as long as possible. And if I can keep it a few months after the, you know, into the dry season, that would be phenomenal. If I can keep one year round, in which we can, people do it, but it's a learning experience. You just have to go through it and learn. So anyway, you guys have a great day.